play a G, add a A sharp, and add a D. There you go. See? Now play them all at the same time.
A G, a A sharp,
See,
and a
the
what?
And a D. Okay. And then here where we're talking about, it says to make a seventh chord. You play the root, so play the C, add step 4, which is an E, step 7, which is a G, and then step 10, which would be an A sharp. Okay, that's your seventh chord. That's how you make a seventh chord. If you've got the reach, and I find this so much easier to play particularly on a C seventh chord. Okay. If you can reach an octave from C to C, which I don't do very well, but anyhow, then just come down from the top C, two notes. That's your seventh chord. Now, I'm not going to go into these others. I'll show you. You'll see a C with a plus mark by it. That's called an augmented chord. If you follow the recipe, can you put it together?
Yeah, but do you do that with one hand, all 4 pieces?
Not always. You don't have to play all of them. A lot of people can. Generally, I play about 3 notes. And, but you can take, it doesn't matter what key you're in, what scale you're in. If you follow this, and it will tell you how to make those chords. And it's not that difficult to learn, because primarily you're going to play the major chord more than anything else. You will play a 5th chord. When I play 5th chords, I play like in G, which you run into a lot, a G. I play a G, an F natural, and no. I have to do it. You can do it that way. You can do it, okay, so in the G chord, you've got to come down from the F sharp. So you're going to play an E with the G. So no, that's a minor. G. Oh, it's an F natural. It's an F natural, and a D, and an E, and a G. Yeah. This stuff, you get to the point after you've played for a while that you do this stuff without thinking of it. You're not having to think. It's just like if you've ever heard Jim play the violin. He goes so fast that he cannot be thinking about what he's doing. There's a thing called muscle memory. And if you do a routine, I don't care what it was. Saw a commercial, one of the pizza places. And they had this guy that all he was doing was putting together pizza boxes. Did you seen it? And do you remember how many they said he could do?
No, I don't.
In a minute? Well, I think it was, I don't remember. Yeah. But I mean, he was going like a whirlwind. You never saw anything like it. But he's going on muscle memory. He's not thinking about what he's doing. He doesn't have to think about what he's doing. So he's throwing this together in a real sharp fashion. So let's go back to our chords.
I need to hurry up and get to that non-thinking guy.
Well, be patient. Be patient.
What is that between D sharp, the top, D sharp and F? What is above the A, way down here, somewhere all the way down there. Above the A, what is that?
Here,
Yeah, what is
that's
that?
an E. My bad printing.
E, okay.
E note. Yeah, I'm sorry. We
Okay.
should be able to do better than that. Now, I'm going to give you something else. I gave you one of these, Gary, already. These are printouts of some of your chromatic scales. Chromatic scale has 13 steps in it. These are the most common, and what they are, if you see the different key signatures, like the top one is the key of C. The next one, what key is that? It's got one sharp in it. G. Right. For people who haven't been here before, you look at a piece of music, you're unsure what key it's written in. Go to the last note of the song. It will end on the note that the song of the key. So, I mean, if you go to the end of the song, in this case, it's a G. It's a high G, but it's a G. It could be down lower. These examples just work out that way. But then the next one, with two sharps, what does it end on?
D.
D, that's right, D. Then the one with three sharps,
A.
A, the lady's right. What about the one with the one flat?
F.
What note is flatted in an F scale?
B.
B flat. See, the thing about this is, in sharps and flats, the symbol is written on the line, or in some cases in between the lines, of the note that it affects. So that little flat sign is written right on that B line. So there again, all the songs in there are going to be B flat unless you see the natural sign. And then you go to this next one, next to the bottom. What's that?
B and
A B flat, the key of B flat. What notes are flatted in that?
B and
B and E, that's right. And if we go on to the very bottom, it's going to be the same flat as the one above, but they're adding another flat. What is the key, first of all, of the
A.
bottom? It's A flat. Yeah. These up here are not, you don't say sharp after, like G. They don't, it's just G. But when you get to down here to B flat and others, I haven't put them all on here because you run down to things like 5 and 6 flats, you're not going to be playing it. So,
Is that there's the 3 flats, isn't that E?
3 flats, I beg your pardon, you are right. 3 flats are E.
Yes.
And it's in the key of E flat. So, now you can take this, and then using the other sheet, you could make any chord that you're likely to run into. And basically you're going to run into a major chord, a minor chord, a seventh chord, augmented chord, and a diminished chord. You will run into those. But there are chords beyond that, but you're not likely to run into. And if you did, it's just a matter of figuring it out, you know. So, anybody got any questions? Yes, sir.
Would you talk about chords relating to stringed instruments like the guitar,
Guitar?
mandolin, fiddle, ukulele?
You can back me up on this, since you're a virtuoso of the guitar.
I pretend to play.
You're doing great. Guitars. Okay, you look at the neck of a guitar. It has 6 strings on it. Well, they're going to be slanted in this case. And this is the very top. And then those spaces across it are called frets. And the low E, if you're holding it, E is going to be on the bottom.
Yeah, start on the right.
Start over here? Okay. This is the highest
High E.
open string. When they say open string, it means you're not touching it except to pluck it.
That's high.
Yeah.
Then B,
And it's
B.
the E above middle C.
Right.
So,
B,
yeah.
B is next.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to cover something on this. So if you are looking at a piece of music and it's got an F sharp in it, where do you think the F sharp on this string, where would you put your finger to make the F sharp note? Oh, definitely. You can't go down because you're starting at the bottom. You know, you're. Which fret?
Third?
The second fret.
Second.
Because this note is F
That's right.
and this is F sharp. It's just like the keyboard. It's just exactly like the keyboard. See, so you're starting on E. Yeah. And then it's the same thing. But you've got more to choose from because this string is your B string, B natural string. And this is G.
G.
G or D? G.
G. Good.
See, he's deaf like me, so we know how to get along. And then this is D.
A.
A. And
Low E.
Low E. And how many octaves is that E below this one? 2 octaves or 3?
That's either 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
It's
3.
that much lower. It's a very low note. And generally, and it's the same thing. You go on up where you put your frets. That's a B, so this is going to be a C. This will be C sharp. This will be D. This will be D sharp. This will be E again. This note, if you put your finger there and pluck that string, it should sound exactly like this string without any fingers on it.
Where? This one. When you're tuning the guitar.
Yeah, that's one way to tune a guitar. We call it relative tuning, I think you said. It's a lot better to use the little tuners that they've got nowadays, but you can tune a guitar that way. So, now, to make chords in it. Okay, let's do this. Let's G sharp. A sharp, B. Okay, let's see, F, G, G sharp, A. So we want to make a G chord. Well, you got one nice thing here. You don't have to do anything on this string because it's already tuned to G. So what would go with G? Ah, well, that's handy too, because B is part of a G chord. So that would be an open string. You wouldn't have to use a finger. Then you would have your choice of either putting a G here. There's more to this chord. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but there are over here. But that shows you how you make a chord by putting the combinations. Come on in, Mike. And it'd be the same thing like you make a chord on a keyboard. Any kind of instrument. That's probably a little broad, but any instrument that you would strum, you could play. You make chords that way. Yes, sir.
What about the fiddle?
Fiddle? No.
Yeah, they do have.
You can make technically to the definition of a chord, which is two notes that harmonize. You can do that on a fiddle, or cello, or any of them. But you can't do more than that because of the arch. The arch of it. Is that what's that arch? The bridge arch.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where the strings go over it. And if they were flat, like a guitar, you couldn't do it with a bow because you
There's
couldn't
some
handle
folks
it.
that are real talented can hit.
Yeah, it had to be somebody.
They have
pretty
altered
good.
the bridge a little. And,
So they curve it, and you can get two
normally
notes
one
at the
will
same
get
time.
two.
Yeah, that's about it. But a mandolin you can make chords on, banjos you can make chords on. Guitar.
Ukulele has only four
Ukulele.
strings,
Yeah,
so
ukulele
still,
is nice. Has 4 strings. So, okay. Now, any more questions? We run out.
What is
Yeah.
that?
What?
I guess,
What is that under the G's? G? What is that under the G?
Under the
Sharp?
G?
Or up under
Up here,
the G?
The G chord.
under the G,
What is
that's
that?
G sharp.
Or G sharp?
Are you making a comment on my penmanship? Or my lack of penmanship? Okay, go ahead.
okay. I guess if I'm looking at a piece of music, I don't see the chords, but I know how to read the notes on the sheet, and I can pick it out on my guitar. Can I form the chords? By looking at-
Sometimes you can. The only thing is, you'd have to experiment with it because there's a possibility that the melody can get lost in the chord. Because, if that note is probably going to be part of that chord. So,
I guess what I'm also asking is, whoever put the chords above, what do you call that, the staff?
yeah.
Whoever decided on those chords, how did they decide it?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer because sometimes it's pretty self-evident. You have said yourself, you can tell when the melody changes and your chord no longer fits the melody of the song.
Yeah, I've caught you at mistakes.
Yeah. So generally, it's going to be some note that is part of that chord, but not always. And I want to ask Dr. Cott about this. If I make a G chord, will any note in a G scale fit in that chord like part of a melody? I never have figured that out.
Not really.
No.
The first, the third, and fifth will because
Yeah,
that's your chord.
yeah.
Okay. And again, if it's a passing note, it will fit.
That's what I mean.
Okay, so that you can use passing notes
Yeah,
to
it's got
get,
to be a passing.
to get to another note.
Yeah. Now, passing note is like if you were running up. You're not holding that note. You're not staying on that note. It's a note where you're transitioning to a higher or a lower note. That's a passing note. All right. Is that a good definition? Okay. Okay. Now we've reached our time. Okay. We're going to break. We won't be here next Friday because we're playing at the Gilmore Center, and I'd like to have you come join us. Even though you might not be able to play or not feel comfortable playing, we'd still like to have you come. And then a week from Friday, Dr. Cott's going to take over and work on playing the keyboard.
No.
No?
Yes and no. The 21st will be at Fort Hood,
Oh, I forgot
the
that.
following
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
And then the Friday after that, which will be what, the 28th, we'll take all this and put it into the fingering of the
Okay.
keyboard.
Thank you, Jack. That's a wrap.
Thank you all.